Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and look at the fact that Bitcoin's rally continues. We are now over 17,000. We even push near around 17,800. We are a stone throw away from the prior all-time high. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So the first order of business is identify where the 20 week is, because this is our last line of defense in a bull market, and we are well above it. So far, in fact, above it that many people probably don't even care about it anymore, because right now the 20-week moving average is at $11,900 and the price of Bitcoin is at $17,539. So we are well aware, or we are so far away from the 20-week moving average that I'm sure it's hard for a lot of people to fathom we could be revisiting it anytime soon. And of course, you could be right. We could theoretically push higher. We could push to 20K. We could even go higher than 20K. The idea that it has to stop at any given point is a little bit too deterministic. Let's have at least a little bit of an open mind. Yes, it's likely that if it makes it to 20K, it would get pushed back down, but don't discount anything. Bubbles can really change. Technical analysis kind of goes out the window. Traditional TA goes out the window when people are FOMOing into the market and irrationally throwing money at Bitcoin, right? They scrounge on groceries, but a few thousand in Bitcoin, go ahead, right? It's this mania phase that you typically want to avoid buying into. Remember, we've said all along, this is not financial advice, but I do not seek out bubbles, right? I do not chase bubbles, but you must always be ready for them. Don't chase them, but be ready for them. And what that means is getting into the asset during a low risk time and just waiting for the bubble to come to you, right? Once the bubble has already started, then it changes the game. And the reason is because imagine you're new to crypto and you're investing in Bitcoin at the current prices of 17,500 or so. A 20% pullback from here, take a measured move. A 20% pullback, which is par for the course for Bitcoin, right? A 20% pullback would put Bitcoin at $14,000. This would be devastating for a new investor who just bought Bitcoin at say 17,500. A 20% pullback would probably be devastating and really hurt their confidence in Bitcoin. However, if you were the person buying Bitcoin at 3,000, at 4,000, at 5,000, up to 10,000, maybe 12,000, if you were buying Bitcoin along, when the risk was low and not FOMOing into the market, then to some degree you can afford a pullback and it doesn't really matter, right? To some degree it's just business as usual. Yeah, bring it on. Let Bitcoin consolidate. We'll do our thing for a few weeks, accumulate a bit more Bitcoin and continue moving up. So it kind of changes your mentality of how you handle the market. If you're buying into the bubble, you're buying it, and again, when I say bubble, I mean short-term bubble. I do not mean macroscopic bubble that will be the peak of Bitcoin. If you guys watch the channel, you guys know I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I see it going to six figures over the next several years. But just like we had last market cycle, we're going to have likely several short-term bubbles. And this, in my opinion, is a short-term bubble. You guys can argue against that in the comments if you want. I try to read all the comments. But from where I'm sitting, this is a short-term bubble, and I do think we will have a correction at some point, but I honestly cannot tell you when that correction will be. Short-term moves, in my opinion, are more or less a random walk or geometric Brownian motion, and drawing lines on the chart to try to, definitively say when Bitcoin could turn around is a bit of a fool's errand, in my opinion. Just because it's hard to make rational analysis of an irrational market. So looking at the price now, we're at 17.5. Again, do you chase? Not in my opinion, because you might say, well, if it's going to go up, it could still work out. Well, yeah, it could, but the issue is that it's up 75% in 6 weeks. I do expect this to be basically in the history books, buying Bitcoin at 17,000 in a few years. Do I think that it's in the history books now? No. I think there's a good chance at some point we're going to go below 17,000 again. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Maybe. It might not happen until next week. It might be next month. It might even be next year. Could be in 2021 before we test these levels again. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to be, but the important part is recognizing that there's no way to definitively know what will happen in the market, and throwing a ton of money in the short term and expecting an immediate ROI is very much gambling. And we said before, investing in the market when it's down here in the regression band, our low risk time, this is the time to get that momentum shift in the market. This is when you focus on Bitcoin, right? This is the time to focus on Bitcoin. This is why we made so many videos on Bitcoin for the last year and a half, because I was trying to say, we will leave the regression band at some point, most likely, and this is the time to accumulate. Once we leave it, right? So once we leave the regression band and are heading back up, buying into these pumps is very risky. It doesn't mean you can't make money. If you had bought the last time we left it was, over here at say 6,000, you could have bought at 8,000 and sold at 13,000 and made off like a bandit. But what if you were the person that bought at 14,000 and then watched it go all the way down? This is what I want people to recognize, is that it's not all about the projected return. It's about your risk adjusted return. And if you're buying Bitcoin, once it's rallied up 75% in 6 weeks or so, yes, it could work out for the best, right? It could work out, but there's a good chance that a correction comes at some point that you're not ready for, and because you're overexposed in the market, you might capitulate and lose some money. That's why it helps you appreciate these times down here. So remember this time, if, and this is a big if you get the opportunity, if we get the opportunity to watch Bitcoin go back well within the regression band, remember what this feeling is like. Okay, remember how it feels right now to watch Bitcoin just start soaring, because it'll happen many times. It seems like it happens basically every single year. Not every year, but every single year there's at least some months where there's a really decent move in the price of Bitcoin. So it will likely happen. At some point you would see a pump if you're buying within the regression band. You just have to sometimes be patient. Okay, and so that's the main point of order that I want to talk in this video, right? Don't chase pumps, but be ready for them when they come. Focus on accumulating Bitcoin, not that it's financial advice, when we are at a low risk time, and when it's up here, you're able to look at it from a different perspective. It doesn't mean you're selling. You could be selling small amounts, of course. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone sell all their Bitcoin at this point, because we barely poked our head above the water. We came up for a breath and we're looking to see how high we can go. I wouldn't say you should sell all your Bitcoin here, because, what if it rallies higher? But at least if you were accumulating Bitcoin down here, it gives you the opportunity to say, you know what? I could sell some up here and be up 3 or 4x, depending on exactly when you bought. It could be up 3 or 4x. If I don't want to sell, that's fine. And if it comes back down, I'm still up. Who cares, right? We're still tracing, we're still tracking the regression band. I still think we're going to slowly continue our move up. Obviously, our most recent move there's nothing slow about it. But we'll see how long we can sustain this. Right now, the market seems very bullish. But again, I want to caution people, because it's all fun and games until you wake up one morning and price is down 20%. That it's all fun and games until that point. So let's be cautiously optimistic. Okay, there's a good chance we could see Bitcoin rally at 20K. There's a good chance that happens. There's also a good chance it doesn't happen. Just be somewhat apathetic as opposed to exactly what happens. Just come up with a plan. Stick to it, right? Just stick to the plan. Don't worry about what happens. Don't let your emotions get the better of you. Make sure you're improving your life. You don't always have to watch bubbles come and go. I think it's just a short-term bubble, not a long-term bubble. But we'll see where it takes us. So I hope this little pep talk was encouraging to some people. I know I didn't really go over anything that was that groundbreaking, but I did want to just kind of reiterate some of the things that we're looking at in the charts and see where Bitcoin could be headed over the next few weeks, and how might you react. Try to figure out how you would react if it does. If it carries out various scenarios. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the Telegram channel. And remember, if you want access to exclusive content, you can check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. Get access to some of the TradingView indicators that I made, the weekly reports, weekly videos, alerts channel, risk dashboard, a whole lot of stuff. So check it out. You can pay for 12 months and get a 15% discount. That'll wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.